In this video, I've got some about Flynn, I've got something from Nadler, and also I have a little update on a troubling matter with Devin Nunes. So stick with me, folks, and I'll be right back. Hey everybody, this is Deb with Truthification Chronicles, and got a lot to get in here, and I want to do it kind of fast. So here we go. The first one is just a little bit of a chuckle here, because this is Joe Biden spoke today, I guess. I'm recording this on Monday night, and this is what the crowd outside looked like. That's it. The whole crowd. So these were all the people that were out there to cheer him on. Yeah, those are the Joe supporters. Now tell me again, how are we behind in the polls? Does anyone take them seriously? But I want you to act like we're behind in the polls, so everybody will go out and vote. Vote in person, if at all possible, please. And make sure that, you support our great president, because with 4 more years of him in the office, it's going to be great, folks. It really is. He's going to make America great again. So I wanted to give you that one a little bit of a chuckle before we get into this, because, this is the Flynn thing again. And, oh, man, Sidney's not happy, and she deserves not to be happy, because the banc, the D.C. Circuit, has denied the writ of Mandamus requested by General Flynn. Split, as expected, along lines evident from the tone and tenor of the judges at oral argument. The opinion and dissents are here, and I've got the actual direct link to it, but this is a good page because she has all the updates about the Flynn case there. And it's a disturbing blow to the rule of law. I guess it is. Oh, man. It's just crazy. Here's the actual document. When you go through this, you're sitting there going, wait, because essentially what they said was that the writ of Mandamus wasn't legitimate because they should still wait to see how Judge Sullivan's going to rule. And then they could do the writ of Mandamus if he rules against dismissing the case. So this is how it kind of went all the way through. As I was going through reading this, it just is like they really had their mind all made up. If you remember when I did a previous video that was talking about this case and the oral arguments they had originally, not this last time, but the time before, and they presented, Sidney presented her side, and then that other lady presented the other side, and they had the 3 judges voting on it, right? The one judge that was outnumbered by the other 2, essentially this whole thing is pretty much what he said. Okay? So they totally ignored everything and all the arguments that the other judges said, and they dismissed it. So it was overturned, and you had the majority of them going for saying, nope, we're not going to do anything about this. It goes back to Sullivan, and Sullivan's going to do what Sullivan's going to do. And then maybe, if he decides not to dismiss the case, maybe we'll take it up again. Maybe. If we're in a good mood. That's kind of the feeling I got for it. Of course, they didn't say it that way, but that's the feeling I got. So they pretty much, as you were reading through the majority opinion, the decision here, they pretty much dismissed most of the case that Sidney was saying. They just basically said, well, it's not legitimate, so the rest of it doesn't matter. And then they said they weren't going to change judges from Sullivan, because he didn't show bias. But he obviously did, and they quoted in here some of the statements that he made about accusing General Flynn of treason and everything. But hey, he's not biased. But they said, oh, well, that's not bias. That's okay because he came to that conclusion because of the documentation and everything from the case. So it's okay that he said those things about Flynn. Even though all of those things were negated once all these new documents have been coming out. I mean, it's very obvious now that Sullivan didn't have a bunch of information that was exculpatory that he should have had, and he called for, but he didn't press it enough. And of course, the Mueller prosecutors were just trying to get Flynn, and so they were pretty much hiding everything that would exonerate him. So that was the case. It was like, when I was reading this, it was like, so you're standing in the street and this car is racing towards you, and behind the wheel is a person who hates your guts. And the court would be saying, well, you know what? We can't stop that car because it hasn't hit you yet. So after it hits you, then we'll take care of it, okay? And we'll fix it if it needs fixing. That's essentially what this says. So, hey, Flynn, you just need to stand there and take it again. And then maybe if it, it's still bad and we think it's bad, then we'll talk about this more. It was just awful reading through this. And then they, like I said, kept calling out all the people that were making the case. And look at all the big bunch of people here that were talking for Flynn. And then you had down here against him. It's just, this is how it works. And when you read through this, it's very frustrating. Now, this whole document, it's 61 pages long, but it has the opinion for the court. It has the concurring opinion filed by this circuit judge, Griffith. And as I told you in the last video, that had to come out today if they were going to include him. See, if they'd have waited until tomorrow, then he could not have been included in the count. I would assume that he voted to agree with the opinion, since he's doing a concurring opinion here. So if he wouldn't have been on there, I think it might have been a little different. But a little bit of information about him. He was, when he was confirmed, get this, he was confirmed by a vote of 73 to 24, and the Democrats voting for confirmation included Barack Obama, Joe Biden, Minority Leader Harry Reid, and Minority Whip Dick Durbin. Wow, what a group. Oh, you got all those people for you. How can you go wrong? So, yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting that those were the people they named. And of course, this is Wikipedia, so it's going to be left wing, but they felt they needed to put that out there to make him seem more bipartisan. I don't know. Anyway, so they included that in here. I just thought it was kind of interesting. And the Washington Post endorsed his nomination. Oh, goodness. Such a good guy. Anyway, but that was back in 2005, so he was getting ready to retire, and if he retired, then he could not be counted in the number of the votes on that. So that's why we were expecting it today, like I said in the last video. So anyway, what a guy. So I'll leave this link down below, and you can read through it if you want to, if you want to make you sick. Oh, it just is so crazy. I want to show you one place. Let's see. I think it was on page 15. Let me see if I can find it here. Yeah, here's where they were making all the comments. This is what Judge Sullivan said. It could be that any sentence of incarceration imposed after your further cooperation would be for less time than a sentence may be today. I can't make any guarantees, but I'm not hiding my disgust, my disdain for this criminal offense. But remember, there's no bias. The guy is not biased. Oh, and it goes on, it says, hypothetically, could he have been charged with treason? I was just trying to determine the benefit of and the generosity of the government in bestowing a benefit on Mr. Flynn. I'm not suggesting he committed treason. That's when he walked back his words. I mean, he said the treason thing first, and then they had a break, and then he came back, and he kind of walked it back a little bit. But still, I'm not suggesting he committed treason. Yeah, right. The quoted statements were made at a scheduled sentencing proceeding at which the judge first inquired whether petitioner adhered to his guilty plea, he did, and then urged petitioner to reconsider whether he wished to proceed that day with the scheduled sentencing or wait until he completed his cooperation. He chose to postpone. We agree with the panel majority that none of the statements to which petitioner points establishes that reassignment is warranted. Opinions formed by the judge on the basis of facts introduced or events occurring in the course of proceedings do not constitute a basis for a bias or partiality motion unless they display a deep-seated favoritism or antagonism that would make fair judgment impossible. Gee, you think accusing somebody of treason and saying you're disgusted and you have disdain for them? You think that's going to be something that would be antagonistic? Maybe just a smidge? No. So, yeah, they decided that they're going to send it right back. So, and their reasoning on this was, well, if we do it for him, we got to do it for everybody. And you can't just have people coming in and asking for new judges and us having to give them to them. That's their reasoning. Oh, it just was infuriating. I bet Sidney was really ticked off when she got this, because it's just wrong. It's just wrong. And Techno Fog, said, Flynn update, here's the order denying the mandamus. The case goes back to Judge Sullivan. The opinion ends with these words, we expect the district court to proceed with appropriate dispatch. Well, what's that mean, Here's what could happen, okay? This Judge Sullivan could ask for evidence and discovery. So it could drag on even longer. Oh my goodness. But hey, Flynn still has appropriate avenues for redress. That's what they said back in this. They were saying that, well, the reason we're not going to grant it is because, he's still got options. Yeah, what's the option? And it's not going to cause you any problems. No, it's not going to be that big a deal. You just have to wait and see what he does. So, it's just very frustrating. Speaking of frustrating, this is Jerry Nadler here. And he had to put out a statement because evidently we've got a ruling now from the Court of Appeals on the McGahn case, and they are not going to allow the subpoena. And so Jerry's spitting nails too, because he wants that subpoena. He wants to get McGahn in there. He wants to grill him over and over because he wants Trump. So he had to make a statement, and it's not just him. This is actually from Nadler and Schiff and Maloney and Engel and Neal and Maxine Waters. Oh, you got to get her in there, right? Today's decision in the McGahn case is clearly in error. House committee chairs from both parties have previously and successfully relied on the courts to enforce subpoenas. Well, not when they're being stupid about them and they're asking for everything to be subpoenaed. The Republicans asked for subpoenas for good reasons. They're just saying, well, we're going to subpoena everybody because we want to know. We've got to get some dirt on Trump somehow. And it's not working. Teflon Don. Gotta love him. Anyway, so then it goes on and says, to hold otherwise would undermine a critical constitutional check on the executive branch. Just as the last decision of the panel was appealed and reversed, we expect to appeal this decision without delay to the full D.C. circuit. Well, that could be interesting. I'm not sure how it's going to come out, but I think they're going to uphold their decision and they won't allow the subpoena of McGahn. So, because he was the president's attorney at that time, the White House attorney. And it's like, you can't do that. You can't subpoena somebody's attorney. You can't. So anyway, I think that probably that will not fly and Jerry's not going to get his wish. But I think this is going to stand as it was ruled. I don't know. Could be wrong on that. But anyway, I wanted to point this out because in the last video, I had the thing about the Neuralink. And I just wanted to point out to you that evidently MIT has supposedly debunked it. So whether they have or not, it's kind of interesting that it just came out. Like it says, scientists at MIT have wasted no time debunking Elon Musk's Neuralink presentation from last week. So they're trying to say there are many things that he didn't say, and that he's not a doctor or a scientist, so he doesn't know. Anyway, I'll leave the article down below if you want to read more on that. But I just thought it was interesting that it's so contradictory to what I had in the last article. So, Reuters says that Facebook partners with external researchers to study its impact during U.S. election. So they're going to be using us as guinea pigs, and they just so happen to choose this election. Because what could go wrong with them experimenting? And essentially what they're going to be doing is they're going to be doing little, like I said, experiments with us. They're the people that sign up for this. They're going to show them certain ads or whatever, and they're going to keep track of the results. Now, it's supposed to be external researchers, but it's very interesting. This article does not name them at all. So we have no idea who these people are. Now, hopefully they're going to choose better than they do with their fact checkers, because Facebook's fact checkers are awful. They're like all connected to all the big players. They're being funded by these people. I just watched a Ben Swan video on Bill Gates. Okay, really good. In fact, I'll put the link down below for it. I don't have it pulled up right now, but I'll put the link down below near this one so you can watch it, because he does a really good job. And it's talking about Facebook's fact checkers. And I think we need to have more fact checking of fact checkers. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you. The article's not very big, and it doesn't really have anything in it. But like I said, it doesn't tell who the people are. Yeah, we don't want the American people to know who they're picking to do this. I'll bet there's a lot of left-wing connections in those. Well, guess what? The United States is the only country among developed nations keeping children home from school. Yipper, yipper, yipper. So, yeah, it just seems that Dr. Scott Atlas has, pointed that out. And he says, we are the only nation among our peer nations that are hysterical about opening schools. The only country that seems to be willing to sacrifice our children out of our own fear. So, yay for him. Anyway, there's like the link to it, and you can watch that if you want to. Next one. Guess what? All 77 NFL players who tested positive for COVID were false positives. They didn't really have it. Yeah. So this was a really interesting article because, we're just not having a lot of confidence in that particular test, because we're seeing an awful lot of false positives. And so once again, we're questioning exactly what in the world the numbers are. And then I just want to leave you this article. I'm not going to talk much about it because you know who doesn't like it. And I think it's an important article for you to read because we're not hearing much about it here in the United States. And I think it's really important for you to read this and to see what's going on in Germany, because there's a lot going on in Germany right now, and especially with Mr. 17, man. They got 17 everywhere, and there's a really big following in Germany. Anyway, RFK Jr., he has really been going great guns. So, I mean, check it out. Look at all those people. Yeah. So, why are we not hearing about it? Well, you know why. And again, that Ben Swan video about Bill Gates, you gotta watch it. Okay, how about this one? We kind of think maybe nothing's going on, but there are things going on. Feds just arrested 23 in Chicago under Operation Legend. U.S. attorneys charged them with federal gun trafficking. So there you go on that one. I thought that was pretty good. And, I know 23 is not that much, but these are big fish. Okay, supposedly that's what they're saying here. And some leaders and things. And, if you get the leaders, you're going to be stopping a lot of stuff. So I think that's good to hear too. Well, let's talk about Devin Nunes for a minute because he has just really faced a lot of challenges in the past couple of years. If you don't know what's been going on to this man, well, he does have a lawsuit out there for a news organization. I think several of the news organizations. I haven't heard any updates on that lately, but it's kind of a Nick Sandman type thing, but a little bit different. They have to do it differently because he is a public figure. But they've been kind of dealing with his wife, especially this one guy here. And, she's just an elementary school teacher. She's just a regular person. And they have made her life miserable. They had stuff put out there. This particular guy put out information and emails and stuff. And it caused the entire school to have to spend money for like protection and updated security and stuff. It was not good. Anyway, so he supposedly sent threats to her, and that, we have to say allegedly because he is innocent until proven guilty, which, we'll see. But I'm going to believe Devin on this. And if he says this is the guy, I'm pretty sure. So, lots of nasty stuff that he was doing. The complaint itself is really short right here. It's 2 pages, and essentially all it says is this right here. But the guy was not arrested because of COVID. So they couldn't arrest him, but they did take him in. He did have to stand in front of a judge. But, it's just so crazy right now that you can't actually arrest real offenders. But that's the case we are. And there's not a lot of details in here, really. There's virtually nothing. There's not a lot of details in this article too much. There's a little bit more here because there have been previous information articles put out about this situation. But, so that's what's going on with Devin Nunes. Keep that guy in your prayers because he has been on the front lines. He's really been a good warrior trying to find the truth. And he's an honest guy. He's just doing what he's supposed to be doing. They're accusing him of everything under the sun. Schiff is accusing him of leaking. Okay? Yeah. Schiff, the leaker, is accusing Devin Nunes of being the one to leak. So I just think that's kind of, out there too. Anyway, so to end this, I'm going to give you this one. I want to thank Tank Barrett. He says, as you requested, another smallish channel doing great work. And this is Truth in Context. And here's the channel. That's a good chart to start out with. If you haven't seen that, that's the 16-year plan. I actually did a video of that, but it isn't narrated or anything. It's just I was losing my voice, so I needed to do something where I could, not have to use my voice. So it just has music behind it, but I do have one of those. And it really is a good chart because you look at these things and it's like they ticked off almost all of these boxes. It's really, really crazy. But anyway, so it looks good to me. He has 20.2K subscribers. So this would be a good person to kind of click the subscribe button. Remember, when you do that, then you've got to click on the bell and choose all, or you won't get hardly any of the notifications these days. So that's what you do. And look through the information that he has, the different videos he has, and then see if that's a channel you want to support. I highly recommend that we support a lot of Patriots because when you subscribe, it does help move us up in their algorithm, even though they've got it so that, we don't move as far up as we would normally. Also, if you can click on the videos, if you click like, it actually helps with the algorithm too. The algorithm deals with subscriptions, views, and likes. And those 3 things really combine to help move us up a little bit. So the more you can do that, the better off it is. And also the number of minutes, how much of the video people watched. So the more you watch, the better off you are too. So that's a good thing. What it will do is it makes it more likely for us to get over here in these suggested videos. And then people have more of a chance of seeing us and clicking on us. And that's really one of the things where we've gotten a lot less views lately, but we can still get some, and the more we put it out there, the more likely we are that people can find us and, different channels. And I want to remind you of Friday night at 9 o'clock Eastern. I'm going to do another one of the premieres. Now, a premiere, in case you don't know, a premiere has to be a video that hasn't been made public yet. And it's just a chance. It brings up a chat box so you can chat with me. I will be there at a premiere. And until I can do a live stream, I need to just rely on these premieres, because at least I get in the chat and I can chat with you guys. It was really fun Saturday night. So this time it'll be Friday night, in case you couldn't make it, last Saturday. And we'll try it again and we'll see what happens, because I just think it's kind of fun hanging out with you guys, and you ask questions and I ask questions, and we just get to share all kinds of things, because it's nice to have people that think the same way, and you don't have to worry about whether you're going to be attacked or something. So anyway, that's what I wanted to share with you, and I have a big surprise that I'm going to tell you about Friday night. So you need to make sure you're in there, right? Anyway, that's what I've got for you on this one. I want to thank you for stopping by, and I'll see y'all later.